This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, joined here again today by WBA World Super Lightweight Champion Regis Prograis. We're here following your media workout. Regis, how you doing?
I'm doing perfect, fine, perfect, everything, all the good stuff.
How was that media workout for you? You looking tremendous shape?
Yeah, man. Like I said, man, I'm kind of getting, I'm kind of getting that itch now. I'm getting antsy. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Even though we 9 days away, but like I'm getting that itch right now, and I'm kind of, I'm ready.
Is that normal for you? Do you sort of take, is it 9-10 days out, a couple of weeks out, where you start kind of lasering into the fight, or is it something that happens a little bit more gradually?
You know what? It's kind of, sometimes you like really ready. Like when I started camp, I was like super ready. And then, you kind of go down and up and down and up. But, like, this is the last, the last 10 days. So this really, gets super focused. Like, that real tunnel vision.
I watched an interview that you did the other day where you spoke about potentially 135 pounds.
No, I didn't say that. Somebody else said I would never go to 135. Somebody asked me if I can go to 135. I said, no, I would never go to 135. I'm only going up, not down. So, no, totally false.
It seemed very confusing to me because I know you boxed you boxed heavier as an amateur, and obviously the glamour fights are, you boxed at 152 as an amateur, and the glamour fights are 147. Where I was going with that is Josh Taylor is a big 140 pounder. Do you anticipate size being a factor in this fight, both good or bad for yourself?
Not really. If anything, it's good for me. I think I always had, really, if you look at most of my opponents, they all been bigger than me. Undango, he's not Josh Taylor, but he was actually bigger than Josh Taylor. He was taller than him, and he had an aqua style and stuff like that too. So, I don't think size never made a difference to me anyway. I always fought people bigger than me. So that's just my role basically. In boxing role, I always fought people bigger than me.
You go into this fight, you're a favourite with the bookmakers over here, which certain people are surprised, some people not. Why do you think that is? Why do you think you enter this as a favourite?
No telling, man. I don't know. Maybe they saw the way I train. Maybe they saw my knockout power. No telling, But I always thought I was the favorite anyway. Even if the bookmakers had me not the favorite, I always thought I was the favorite anyway. I just think my style will give him fits.
I just want to talk about something that's away from the fight, obviously coming up next weekend. We were unfortunate to wake up to news this morning about Patrick Day. Unfortunately lost his life in a tragic battle with Charles Conwell this past weekend. Just your comment on that.
It's sad, man. I know everybody's saying the same word, sad, but it is. It's definitely, it's a tragedy. When sometimes, I think that when I hear about that, I think about why do I do it? Because nobody that steps in the ring think it's gonna happen to them. Nobody. They wouldn't. Of course, if they thought that was gonna happen, they wouldn't do it. Basically, So nobody thinks that it can happen to them. And I question whether this is the right sport for me too sometimes. But then I know how good I am at the same time. It happens to a lot of people that, I think take a lot of punishment and, those type of things. But even if you don't take punishment, all it takes is one blow. And so, of course, sometimes I think, why am I in this sport? Because it is such a dangerous sport. But every day I wake up and it's something that I love to do. I always say that, like, I'd rather die doing something that I love to do. Now, of course, not saying that I would necessarily want to die in a boxing ring. Of course not. I got family, got kids, I got a lot of people that depend on me and love me. But as a fighter, when you get in the ring, I know my mindset. And I was saying this, I was touching on this a little earlier, to where I know I won't stop. Like, it's like you really have to, like, you have to kill me. And even saying these words, it sounds crazy to me coming out my own mouth. Coming out my mind, listening to them, it sounds crazy, but I know how I am in the ring, and most fighters, they have that in their heart, to where you're not gonna stop me. Like, you have to kill me to defeat me, and that's just kind of how my mindset is too. It's the same way, to where it's nothing you're gonna do to me that's gonna make me stop. Like, even in sparring, sometimes it's like, even if I'm getting hit with big punches, I still think, like, you're not gonna stop me. It's nothing you're gonna do to stop me. You have to kill me. And I mean, that's just the fighter's heart. It's the fighter's mentality. It's the fighter's heart, to where we think like that's how we have to be. And it kind of is, and it's kind of not. It depends it depends. But like I said, it's speaking on Patrick Days. It's definitely a tragedy. Pray for him, his family. I don't know if he had any kids or anything like that. But even if no kids or not, you still got a mom and dad. You got a lot of people that love you, and it's a tragedy, and it's very, very sad that that happened.
I mean, when something like that happens, less than 2 weeks out from your own fight, and it's the biggest fight of your career. Do you have to try and block that out, or does it affect you? What kind of impact does that have on your thought process?
It doesn't affect me as far as that goes. Now it doesn't. Like I said, when I step in the ring, it's the same thing. And like I said, I know I sound crazy saying it, but when I step in the ring, it's the same thing with me. Like, you kind of got to kill me to make me stop, basically. But it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't affect me. And sometimes I question whether it's the right, this is what I really should be doing. But for me, I love the sport. That's the main thing. I just really love this sport, and I know how good I am. And for me, the sky is the limit. So of course, all I can do is, ask God to protect me and my opponent, and that's it. And then after that, you leave it in God's hands.
Moving away from your fight on October the 26th, I mean, talk about preparation for this fight. Josh Taylor, very tall, very long, very fast, southpaw. How difficult was it to find sparring partners for this fight?
Well, honestly, it wasn't at all. One of my sparring partners was a 50. I think he's a 54-pounder. He's an Olympian. Super good. I actually sparred with him for the Terry Flanagan fight. He got me ready, real aqua style, and he pushes the hell out of me. And then another of my sparring partners right there, Austin Williams. He's a 60-pounder. Super. He's definitely bigger than Josh Taylor. He's definitely stronger than Josh Taylor. Guarantee he's faster than Josh Taylor, and he's young and he's strong. And I've been sparring him, and I know, if I'm sparring with somebody like him, I don't know if y'all seen him fight and stuff like that, but that dude is explosive. And on top of that, he fights at 160 pounds. So it wasn't, for me, it was I ain't have to look for nobody here. I brought him over here, and then of course on top of that, he's fighting on the undercard. So it was like perfect.
How have you found adjusting to, obviously, the time difference, the weather? It's just not quite what you've grown accustomed to. How was that for you? Obviously, traveling for the biggest fight of your career. Was there an initial adjustment period?
Yeah, of course. At first, the main thing was the time difference, because I live in LA now, so it's an 8-hour difference. So you talking about, when I'm talking to my family and stuff, my kids and stuff like that. When it's nighttime over here, they just getting up and stuff. Not just getting up, but it's daytime over there. It's early for them, and of course, and vice versa. So when I'm getting up, they sleeping. So of course, my body was adjusted to that, and it messed with me for. It messed with my body for about 5-6 days, but of course I've been here longer than now, so I'm totally adjusted now. But that's why I made sure I came over here early. So the weather, the food, the culture, the people, and of course the time difference. That's why I made that investment. It was all out my own pocket. I made that investment to come over here early, and that's what I did, and I'm glad I did it.
You mentioned the food. How have you found the food?
It's not like New Orleans food, tell you that. But we actually found some good place to eat, though. To be honest, yeah, we actually found some good place to eat like that. So the food, the food was good. The food was good.
Now I know, obviously, you're originally from New Orleans. I was speaking to people about the fact that you were coming over for the World Boxing Super Series. A colleague of mine caught up with you in New York, did a fantastic interview where you spoke about, obviously, Hurricane Katrina and the effects of that. So I won't go into that today purely because it's already available on Boxing Social for people who want to have a look at it. But just tell me, if you can, kind of the differences between New Orleans, and obviously you moved to Houston and then LA, and now you're in London. Yeah. You're a bit of a nomad. You kind of make your house your home, as it were.
I go everywhere. I'm totally adjustable. I can do anything. First off, New Orleans will always be my home. Most of my family live there. Most of my close friends, they all live in New Orleans. So that'll always be home. After every fight, even before every fight, I go to I go back home. I go to New Orleans. But it's a city like no other in New Orleans. And it's a lot of culture, the food, the people. It's just, it's definitely a great city. And Houston is the same way. It doesn't have the culture like New Orleans, but Houston, for me, for a long time, that was home. And Houston, I still love Houston. Most likely, I'll be buying a house in Texas also. And, now I live in sunny LA. So LA is like a dream city, really. It's just, it's everything. It's everything. It's really like living on vacation. Like I free dive and stuff like that now, and spearfishing, all that stuff. So the ocean is like right in my backyard. Malibu is probably like 20 minutes from my house. I live in the hills. I run up the mountains and all that type of stuff. The weather's beautiful all the time. It's perfect living there, to be honest.
When people say, considering the fact that you've gone from New Orleans to Houston to LA, you've boxed around the world as an amateur, Did it make you laugh that people were suggesting the fact that you were scared to come over here to fight Josh Taylor?
Definitely, that was a big laugh for me, and people was like, yeah, I was scared, and at the time, so all the stuff that went on with the WBSS, and at the time, it was going through like litigation, so my lawyer was like, sorry, you can't say nothing. Like, people was writing me in my DMs, and you scared, you shit your pants and all that. It was like, I just got to read it, and I'm a talker, so for me, I have to reply to stuff. And so I couldn't. So the main thing to get back at everybody, I show you, like, I'm here. It wasn't no way I was shying. And, if I didn't want to be here, I wouldn't have came as early as I came. I would have came here 2 days before the fight, like Baranchek did, and get the fight over with and get out of there. But me, I made sure I'm staying. Matter of fact, I'll be here for a month because after the fight, I'm staying here for like 5 more days after that. So I made sure, it just let people know it's no such thing as me being scared of nobody. Like I'm here. But at the time, people saying all kinds of stuff. Josh was talking all kinds of shit, talking I was scared of him and all that stuff because of the stuff that went on with the WBSS. But for me, I always told him I wanted to fight him. That was always my thing. I knew I wanted to fight you. It's no other fight in my career that I want except him. Right now, it's no other fight because we're number 1 and number 2, and we fighting for the Ali Trophy. We fight for the ring belt. We fight for my belt, his belt, and on top of that, I have a personal letter from Mauricio Suleiman of the WBC that I have the diamond belt also, to where after that, the winner has a mandatory shot at Jose Ramirez. So for me, it's too much on the line. It was no way I was going to shy away from all this stuff. This is a dream fight. This is a dream come true to me. Especially I always wanted to come fight in the UK. And I feel like after this fight, it's going to be, it'll be superstardom. Definitely pound for pound list, and superstardom will come next, So, let everybody talk, but now they see I'm here. And there's no way I'm shying away from that.
You mentioned having the WBC Diamond, and obviously Jose Ramirez has the full version of the WBC. Josh Taylor had the WBC Silver for a while, so you and him have been linked for a long time. I know you've had your kind of little bits and pieces to say on social media, but I know Josh fairly well. I've obviously interviewed you a few times now. There seems to be definitely a big respect there between the two of you. Do you think that's fair to say?
Yeah, of course. I respect anybody. I always say he's the best in the world at 140. After me, I feel like he was the best. Even before the tournament was announced, even before we fought our fights, I still felt like he was the best. Nothing's really changed, I felt like I was number 1, he was number 2, Ramirez was number 3, and Hooker was number 4. And to me, honestly, nothing has changed. I still feel like it's the same order right now. So, but yeah, it's definitely a big respect for Josh. He's a world champion. You don't get to be a world champion for nothing. He's fought some good opponents. He's fought same thing like me. Former world champions, undefeated fighters, and we beat all of them, So I definitely respect them. Of course, I know I respect anybody that gets in this ring.
You spoke about the fact that when you were last over, you watched the Baranchek fight in Glasgow. Partisan atmosphere. I remember you standing on your chair and really lapping it up, which made me laugh. Are you excited now to be over here and to perform in that kind of bear pit atmosphere as the away fighter?
Yeah, I like I said, man, I always want to come over here. It's a lot of. We're even looking at like Errol Spence, he came over here and he broke that superstar that mold when he fought Carol Brook over here. I feel like not even that you have to come over here, but for me, as a world champion, I feel like world champion mean world, fight all over the world, and that's kind of always what I want to do. I always told myself, when I get a world title, I'm going to fight all over the world. I know I'm going to fight all over the world. So, of course, this fight could have been anywhere, but they told me it was going to be here. So I said, yeah. They actually gave me a few other places, and I felt like this was actually like the best place to fight right now. Especially in my career, I feel like this is the best place to fight. It's going to be packed. So I jumped at the opportunity.
Final word on two people who aren't here today as far as I can see, but I know they look after you in your career, Pete Berg and Mark Wahlberg. Talk to me a little bit about them and what kind of influence...
Saturday. Mark is he'll be here Saturday, so we're actually going to go do something Saturday. And Pete will be here, I think, next Thursday, something like that, in a week. Yeah.
What kind of control do they have over your career? What kind of influence do they have over your career?
Well, as far as right now, I'm with a company called Churchill Management. But Sam is he's the worker. He does all the work. Peter Berg and Mark Wahlberg, they have, of course, they the big names and stuff like that. But Sam, he does a majority of the work. But they have the star power, the superstar power. And of course, it's always, for me, I signed with them just because, first off, they're good people. To be honest, and like from New Orleans, like that's what we like about people. I don't care about how much money you got, how famous you are, none of that stuff. I don't care about if you're a piece of shit as a person. I don't care about being around you. So when I met them, when I met Pete, Pete was just a real down-to-earth person. Same thing with Wahlberg, you know, just a real cool person. Just, you know, we kick it and have fun and laugh and stuff like that. So that's kind of, you know, that's why I signed with Churchill, just because of the attitudes and stuff. And then, of course, I seen, you know, they can do other things for me. They can do more things for me and really blow my name up. And all I gotta do is keep taking care of business in the ring, and, you know, they can handle the rest.
Maybe a future in movies?
I already did 2 movies.
Really?
I did 2 movies. It's a movie called Bayou Caviar. It's a low budget film, but Cuba Gooding Jr. that was his first movie that he acted and directed it. So I'm in that movie, and then it's a movie we got coming out called Wonderland. Mark Wahlberg. It didn't come out yet. It come out in 2020 on Netflix, I think. And so we already shot that and stuff. But Mark Wahlberg, he's the main character. So I did the movies already, but I'm not. Right now, I'm not into the movie thing. It's just it's a people think it's easy, but it's a long job. It's a very, very hard and long job. I can feel for them dudes, so nah, I can't do it.
Or maybe sometime in the future. Regis Prograis, thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. As always, real pleasure to catch up with you. I will see you next week in Fight Week.
Yeah, thank you. And make sure everybody, if you want to see all the behind the scenes footage and stuff, I have a YouTube page. You can go to Regis Rugaroo Boxing and all that, like the behind the scenes, the camp, we call it the Road to London. You can go watch it on there. So we had some real fun moments, especially in LA. So you'll see, and here.
Thanks very much, Regis.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.